What the hell? There's nothing wrong with your motor, bro.
Alright, so I think tomorrow I'll jack this thing up and yeah, pull that starter motor out. Alright, so it's a new day. My starter motor arrived this week from Ultimate Motors Group. Cheers, Simon. I got a 2K Rx8 starter. So after some investigation, I found that the FD starter motors are 1.2 kilowatts. And the Rx8 revised their starter motor and made it 2 kilowatts. So it should turn the car over a bit quicker as well. So I got one of those. Now, they don't fit straight in, but we'll go and get the old starter out. We'll put them on the bench and have a look, and we'll go from there. There's the part number. And here's the starter motor. Brand new. Alright, let's go get the old one out of the Rx7. Guess the first thing we want to do is undo the battery, because we don't want to run into any problems under the car. There we go. Okay, I've jacked the car up, got some axle stands under it. I guess I'll climb under there and get that starter out. Alright, so there's our starter motor. Just got a 12 on the end to take the main power wire off, and then we'll get those 2 bolts out and she'll just fall out. Nice and easy. Just a job under the car on the floor. Okay, there's the main power wire off and the solenoid plug. So yeah, now we just got to get those 2 bolts out. Okay, starter's now out. There she is. This bolt's the bottom one, and the top one's still in there. Yeah, nice and easy. I'll go and put that on the bench and test it and see what it does. Okay, so let's give this a test. Yeah, that's spinning really slow. There's no way that's going to start anything. As opposed to a new one, which goes hard. Okay, clearly our issue. Old starter motor's knackered, new starter motor sounds mint. Let's get this one in. Okay, if you've never tested a starter motor before, you want to put your earth on here, or earth it to the starter, and just cross these 2 up on the solenoid with your positive. So you just cross those 2 up, it'll spark and carry on, but it'll pump out and spin. And that's how you can bench test them. Now, just because the starter engages and spins doesn't mean that it's mint. What I've found quite often with starter motors is you've got your little cog that turns your flywheel in here, and I've found on a lot of starter motors that when they're really knackered, you can turn this cog both ways. Starter motors are only supposed to spin one way. That would mean your starter motor's stuffed. All these just turn really slow, which means they're stuffed. Now you can rebuild them. I just opted to get a new one because this is a 2 kilowatt starter, and the old FD is a 1.2. So I've just opted to put the bigger one in as opposed to rebuilding this one. I'll put this aside as a spare because I could probably rebuild it at a later date. Okay, so we're going to transfer this into this housing so it will fit in the FD Rx7. This is a 2 kilowatt starter motor from an Rx8, and we're putting it into our FD Rx7 shell so it will fit inside the Rx7, because at the moment this doesn't bolt up. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, first off, we don't need many tools to do this, just an 8mm socket. I've used an impact screwdriver to remove the solenoid screws off the starter motors, just to make sure I don't round the ends out, but you can just do it with a conventional Phillips screwdriver as well. And a 12mm to take the nuts off the ends of the solenoids. So really easy tools to do this. So we want to be careful not to undo these 2 screws here. That will not help us at all. What we want to do is undo these 2 8mm on the top, which should be nice and easy. Let's get those out. And screws for the solenoid. 1, 2. Okay, that's on a spring. It might just spring out at you. Don't worry about that. That's no worries. Okay, so we'll take that out. Take that off. So that's our starter. The only little bit that might fall out on you is this ball bearing here. Okay, just be very careful with that. Just make sure that stays in the top. Take special note of the way that this is all orientated. See the seal, and we have to line our 8mm bolts up as well when we re-screw things back together, and they both go down there. Okay. Alright, so you can see my old starter motor is definitely a little bit worse for wear. Yeah, absolutely covered in crap. Not surprised this doesn't work very well. And that's our old starter, which we no longer have a use for. Oopsie, goodbye. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this outside and give it a good clean up and get it ready for the new starter motor piece to go in. So I'll just go do that and we'll be right back. Okay, so we got the old housing nice and clean. Got all the crap out of it, so it's ready for the new stuff. So we're going to repeat the process on the new starter, except we're going to be a little bit more careful and pay a little bit more attention to what we're doing. So we will take this guy off. Just for my reference, I'm going to mark that, just so I can remember. Okay, so we'll take that off. Cool. And on a new one. Nice and loose. Take our 8mm out. Okay, 1, 2. So these ones look like they've got a little bit of Loctite on them from factory. That's probably why they were a little bit harder to crack out originally. Makes sense. Okay, now I'll take this guy out from where he was sitting. So that looks considerably newer and in a lot better condition, as we'd expect from factory. Take that shaft out. You can see that's got his ball bearing stuck in there with grease, which is nice. And the seal is lifted out on the end of this one with the unit. Okay. Peel that guy out. Take that guy out. Whew, that was tight. Okay, now I don't think that should have been pressed in there as tight as that. But that's alright, we got her out. Alright, we now have our internals from the new Rx8 starter motor. which we will now put back in the old casing. So yeah, we'll start doing that now. What we probably need to do is put a bit of grease down here, just because there's no grease down there because I cleaned out the old housing, so I just want to make sure there's plenty of grease there, because that looks like it spins an awful lot. Same with that bearing carrier, put a bit of grease in there. Up the top here, I'd say probably pay to put a nice bit of grease in here too, like there. Don't want to put too much grease in here to bind it up, but we want some grease in there just to provide lubrication. Get some on the gears as well. There we go. That's nice. Okay, right. Alright, so if you look down here, you'll see our 8mm holes for our through bolts. You just got to make sure that these pieces are lined up with those, and you're good to go. And that's pretty much all we need to do. And what we'll do is we'll just put a bit of grease in here as well, and on the end of that shaft where the ball bearing goes. So that's all nicely greased up. Alright, so once we've got this rubber seal in, we've got this little plate in, and everything's working how it should. Disengaged, engaged, disengaged, engaged. That's great. Okay, what we want to do is we want to get our little rubber seal. We want to slide that back down into here, like that. Give it a nice push. Make sure we're all still going good. Okay, so once we've got all those seals and everything in there, we want to line everything up, and it should just go click and click. Okay, make sure that goes all in there. Doing this thing. Yeah, that's all good. Right, we want to secure these bolts down. There we go. Okay. Now, we want to get our solenoid back in. Okay, so you just put the solenoid in, get this rubber seal pushed up against the back of the solenoid, push down on the back end and get these two screws in and secure it, and secure this top nut back onto the correct side of the solenoid. Right, so that's all back together. It's in the Rx7 housing, so now I just got to go and retest fit it back into the car and see if it works. Alright, we got the new starter in, connected the battery up. Moment of truth. Let's see if what I've done works. Put some power. We're back in. Hell yeah. Man, I'm absolutely stoked with that result. That new starter motor really cranks this thing over quick and just fires up. It almost sounds like a car that you'd use to daily commute. Really cool upgrade for the Rx7. So that's a Rx8 2K starter motor, and you've got to put it into the Rx7 FD body. Anyway, I hope that's helped you assemble an Rx8 starter motor to fit into an FD. It's a good upgrade. And yeah, it all seems to fit, which I'm quite surprised in. So yeah, if you like this, go hit a like on the video, and maybe go and check out some of our other stuff on our YouTube. Really appreciate you as a subscriber, but yeah, go and check out some of our videos and see what you think, and hopefully we'll end up with you as a subscriber watching our channel. Anyway, thanks for watching, hopefully this has been helpful. You know what to do, like, subscribe, do all those good things, and we'll see you here next time.